What's going on, guys? It's your boy LQ, Mr. Real Deal Fantasy HQ, fire content only. Bring you that heat this week for the football guys. And hey, make sure you check out the website, footballguys.com. Sign up, become a subscriber, some elite content over there you do not want to miss out. So, I got a great episode today. We got some new places, same faces, and some wide receiver fades based on their ADP. I do not want you guys wasting your time because I'm not wasting my time on these guys because I feel like their ADP is going to be climbing just based on their new situations. So I got some wide receivers to fade. Let's get right into it right now. So first up, I'm going to be talking about MVS. Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He is now a Chief. He's with Patrick Mahomes. And my thing is now, man, he's going from Aaron Rodgers to Patrick Mahomes. Nothing really changed. He's going from an elite quarterback to another elite quarterback with kind of the same role. Like, he had a terrible catch rate. He's a guy that's not really going to be an all-around wide receiver there. His role is to stretch the field. It's not like he's going there, all of a sudden he becomes the replacement of Tyreek Hill. That's not the case. Tyreek Hill is an elite, like basically wide receiver stud and an elite wide receiver where you can't replace him with the MVS. So I definitely think, he's a clear fade for me in those later rounds. I'm not going to really waste my time because, like I said, he had a terrible catch rate last season, 47%. His career catch rate is 49%. So we haven't seen much life out of him. So I don't understand why we're really building these hype trains. Like I said, you got same faces, new places, new hype trains. It doesn't make too much sense for me. And it's like, I feel like the Chiefs are going to spend, that first round pick, one of the 2 first-round picks they have on a wide receiver stud. They're probably going to bring somebody in. And like I said, MVS doesn't come in as the second target on that team or the third target on that team. It's really the pecking order, like who's going to get what. And wow, Josh Gordon signed back as well. So who knows like how he's going to be active, if he's going to be involved as well either. So they got a lot going on over there, believe it or not. And MVS doesn't look like a guy I'm willing to target in those later rounds to bring to my roster because, again, we need guys that can show up and show out when you're facing injury or COVID, and hopefully we're done with the protocols, and hopefully COVID is just at a minimum, when it comes to fantasy football and NFL football and just general war population. But anyway, moving on. So I'm fading MBS just based on his ADP, just based on in those later rounds. I want guys that are going to be quality, guys who are going to have value, guys who are going to have consistent volume. And MVS doesn't seem to be that guy. He's not that all-around wide receiver that I want on my roster, that I can put into the starting lineup if I absolutely need to, because I don't want to be wasting picks. I don't want to be filling guys up on the bench that are just zombies, that are just there living and doing nothing. So moving on, next guy I want to fade. And hey, he was exciting going into free agency, Cedrick Wilson. And right now, with the addition of Tyreek Hill, he kind of doesn't exist. So Cedrick Wilson, I definitely feel as though he was an interesting target, man. I definitely feel as though he would have ate up that slot and he would have been that guy. But now with Tyreek Hill coming there, Waddle obviously being a stud, it's going to be a 1A, 1B situation with Waddle and Tyreek Hill. And I can't really see Cedrick Wilson that involved. And this is not even me factoring Devontae Parker. They're still there, but I feel like he'll be cut before June. So I'm not really factoring him into this of him not existing, because you also have Mike Gesicki. Oh my God, man. I love me some Mike Gesicki, and hopefully he goes off this season as well, but he signed back. So again, it comes down to the target priority. Like, we're really not going to see much of Cedrick Wilson. It's definitely too much there in the mix for, we were basically banking on Tua to be able to support a 1A and 1B situation there, along with, basically Mike Gesicki. So I don't see Cedrick Wilson being involved week to week, or because I know he cooked up at the end of the season for the Cowboys. He was able to step up a couple 100-yard games and stuff like that. I love the talent, and I was very excited before this Tyreek Hill, trade, and to get Cedrick Wilson in those later rounds. But now he's looking kind of like a bench spy. He's looking like a kind of a wasted pick. These guys I could just let live on the waiver wire, and if I absolutely at all costs need to basically get a replacement, obviously I would hit the waiver for these guys. But man, Cedrick Wilson, man, it was so good in the beginning, but now it's kind of like, man, you were this close. So moving on to my next and last guy. Now, Zach Pascal, he's now an Eagle, and you remember when he had, 3 touchdowns the first 2 weeks, looking like a fancy stud, looking like Carson Wentz, go-to guy in the red zone, leading the wide receiver core in red zone targets. And then, 3 touchdowns first 3 weeks, 3 touchdowns for an entire season, people. Oh my God, it's disgusting. So I absolutely do not want to waste a draft pick on Zach. I feel as though he's going into a run-heavy offense, and we already know who's the head honcho over there, and that's Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert, really. So it's a run-heavy offense, and you're trying to support a guy like Zach, who's going to have his games, I guess, where he's going to be targeting in the red zone. They tried to transition over there, but like I said, he only did it the first 2 weeks for the Colts, and then never heard of him again. So these are picks that I do not want to waste in later rounds. He's entering a lackluster wide receiver core as it is outside of Devontae Smith. And honestly, I really don't invest on, Eagles wide receivers to begin with, just based on just history. You know what I mean? I mean, the last 1,000-yard receiver they had was Jeremy Maclin, 2014. Last wide receiver they had to have 70-plus catches was Jordan Matthews. Ugh, disgusting. So long ago. You know what I mean? So I do not want to spend that much investment on a wide receiver that plays for the Eagles, being that obviously they don't care about their wide receiver core. They don't look to add guys like Julio Jones or Allen Robinson. Shout out to my Rams, but they don't want to look for guys like that. Juju, or I was screaming, go get Cole Beasley to play that slot role, or go ahead and get a Jameson Crowder. Bring some veterans into that, wide receiver core that can actually be a mouthpiece and actually help that offense and play. Because we've seen them doing with Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson. Disgusting. So Zach comes in as a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. I don't see week to week, basis where he's going to be fantasy relevant. I do not see myself wasting a pick on him. He does not seem to be like a depth piece on your roster where it's like, all right, man, I got Zach, and I'll be able to put him in week 10 when I have a bye week with X wide receiver, whatever you have. So don't look like it. I definitely, feel as though the Eagles were trying to go get those guys, but they just end up not getting those guys, the Jujus, the Allen Robinsons, and et cetera, et cetera. I just feel as though there's a lot of question marks around Jalen Hurts, but they're not really setting him up for success. And adding Zach Pascal is not something that jumping out the paper saying, hey, we have a better wide receiver core now all around. So we shall see. Maybe the Eagles spend, one of those first-round picks on a top prospect wide receiver. Hey, why not bring in 2, man? Because Jalen Reagor is terrible. Just get him out of there. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. But for fantasy purposes, man, these 3 guys, I do not see me targeting them or being on my radar. If I'm on the draft board and I see these guys available, I'm scrolling right past. I'm going to go get a guy like Van Jefferson who's out there. So be on the lookout next week for wide receiver targets in those later rounds. I got the fades, and now I'm going to give you the guys that I'm targeting, and I think you should be targeting as well to bring them to your roster to bring home the gold. So that wraps up today's episode, and thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check out footballguys.com. Sign up today. Elite content over there, and make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment below on what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.